Life is a question, and how we live it is our answer. A quote by Gary Keller. Hi there, welcome to Soul Deep with Sheila. I am Sheila Cheptegei, and we are right at Fairway Hotel, Kampala. The stories around our mental health challenges have been frowned upon for such a long time. But the good news is there's still people out there that are honest and vulnerable and willing to share some of their stories or their journey with us. And today we have a wonderful guest, a gentleman that is willing to share his life's journey with us, and we're very honored to have him. Welcome, Musinguzi Begumisa.
Thank you very much, Sheila. Thank you for having me on Soul Deep.
Anytime. I like your name, Musinguzi Begumisa. It's such a so original, yeah.
As in it rhymes. It's botanical.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a name from Western Uganda.
Yeah.
Musinguzi means the victorious one.
The victorious one.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Then Begumisa means the one who hardens themselves. I don't know. Maybe as my parents were giving me those names, they knew I was going to go through some tough times. Harden myself and be victorious.
Oh wow!
So that's how the name is.
I like harden yourself and be victorious. That's so prophetic. It's victory at the end of the day. I like that. I like that. So just tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Begumisa?
Okay, like you've introduced me, I'm Musinguzi Begumisa. I'm an engineer by profession. That's what I did at university. I'm a husband to one wife all the time.
All the time.
All the time, and I'm a father to 3 wonderful girls. I'm a leader in church. I serve at church and in several workspaces. Yeah, and I'm passionate for Christ, and of recent have gotten into the mental health, not advocacy, but space. Yeah, to tell a bit of my journey with a mental health disorder called bipolar disorder. Yeah, and like you said at the beginning, it's difficult for many people to come out. It was for me as well. Yeah, but those are the spaces within which I play as an individual.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I also like that you're very passionate about helping people. Actually, one of the first times we met, you were still doing this, sharing about mental health, just enlightening people and getting people aware about it. And that's where we met. And you were very passionate about it. I had to meet you, and thank God we're here today.
We bless the Lord.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually a year ago.
It's a year ago.
Because we met about March last year.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I started advocacy is because I wrote a book. I think we'll get into the journey about how I got to break the stigma and write the book about bipolar disorder and the fact that I'm living positively, that's the right word, living with the condition, but scaling the heights in very many spaces.
Scaling the heights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing my best to excel at each of those spaces I told you, as an engineer, as a manager, as a father, as a leader in church, and several other places. Yeah.
And I like the part that you say breaking the stigma, but also at the same time you are living to scale the heights, right? So I like those two concepts because there's a lot of stigma, especially when you say bipolar disorder. People just do not even want to hear it, or at least people that are going through it are not even willing to share. But I like the fact that you are very willing to actually be the person on the forefront to break the stigma.
You see, stigma, let me first talk about stigma, then I talk about scaling the heights. Stigma about mental health is huge. You see, you can have a bacterial infection and you get all those high spikes in temperature. It will be perfectly normal, you get. But mental health alters your reasoning. Alters your reasoning. Bipolar, first of all, is bipolar, 2 poles, and you can get too excited in one extreme and too depressed in another extreme. So if you're on a very high end, you can start breaking those glasses, and so it becomes undesirable. That's why recently I had a family who had their child go to Butarika Hospital, and they did not want anyone to know. You get it? How does our boy go through Butarika Hospital? It's in that sort of classification that mental health becomes very problematic. Yeah, and stigma still, because mental health is associated with witchcraft.
Yeah.
And you've lost your mind, basically.
Yeah.
You get it? Yeah. You can't reason properly. So no one wants to associate. Or I mean, you have had kids who have Down syndrome or these other dilapidated disorders. They lock the kid in a room, just pass them a cup of tea or a plate. No one should see that we have such a problem in the family. You get it? Now that's the stigma. Now for me, my stigma was in such a way that I was a professional. You know, there are some clauses in contracts where a contract is null and void if one of the partners is insane. You see, eh? So you can't have anyone associate with a mad person as far as contractual matters are concerned. Oh, I worked for a government institution, top realm. No one would have seen me in the right light if they knew I had a mental disorder or an issue that I was dealing with. So the stigma was deep.
You're actually very intentional with this journey. And I also like that you're here to actually shed more light, or at least share your experience. And really like to know how that started, how that journey started for you. How did you know? When did you find out? What was your childhood like? So just share with us a bit of that.
Okay. I was born to Mr. and Mrs. Jackson Begumisa. My dad was a very, very rich man and made a few wrong decisions, and we flattened out completely from living in Kampala to going back to the village. So those, as a very family of five, I have four other siblings, so we are five. And so I didn't know that the issues from falling from grace to grass, and from now going through the struggles of living in the village, tilling matoke and coffee, and then the strife between my parents would leave an imprint on me. Yeah, you see, eh? Yeah. No, issues about mental health actually do not happen out of the blue. They don't. That you hear someone has committed suicide for like that, no. Or someone has jumped, no. It's slowly build up an event. So when the body chemicals are disorganizing, those tendencies for extremes happen. Now, one thing I have to say is that I was also predisposed genetically, because bipolar disorder usually runs through families. So you find a pocket here, a pocket there, in the different families, in the wider family that I come from. So I was predisposed. So at campus, when the pressures and the stresses were too many at home, the string broke.
So would you say that with the shift in at least the standard of living, or when you moved from Kampala to the village, do you think that is also something that your mind sort of couldn't deal with? Or
I think I dealt with it quite well, because I assimilated quite well. Okay. But it was a conflict with my mom and dad, and the strife for money, and that kind of stressful environment that kept on leaving an imprint. An event happens, leaves an imprint until when it full blew up. Okay. And you see, bipolar normally manifests in late teenage years, well up to 40. So I was at a ripe age at campus. I'm about 18, 19, getting into university for an engineering course. And the thing is, when that happened, I went to St. Mary's College, Kisubi. Now, I really performed well at O-level, topped the country. And so I had a particular...
Topped the country?
Yes, indeed.
You will not miss
Pola. Yeah, but there's a particular level of expectation I had on myself, and society and hobbies had on myself. I go to university, the thing breaks, I'm a nervous wreck, I'm crying all the time in the dormitory, no one knows what's happening, the academics. Pew. Now you see, you come from top of the nation to retakes. That's an imbalance. It heavied too much on me. Yeah. The good thing is that the condition was diagnosed early. Yeah, and I started getting help slowly, but campus was a very dark period for me. You see, I'll tell you, when that happened, I got so many retakes. There's this particular one. I could assert myself, wake up. I would sleep all the time because the medicine makes you sleep, makes you blow out as like a gigantic ball of flesh.
Oh, so you had actually gained a lot of
too much weight.
Because you're sleeping mostly.
Sleeping mostly, eating a lot. I hated myself. And so there's this particular time I tried Rambi. I tried to go to the field, do this survey work, theodolite measuring and for surveyors. Did the paper, and the results came and I had a retake. It was tough. It was tough. So I walked slowly. I remember these deep conversations, like so deep easy. So after I got that retake, Sheila, I walked, it says in Lumumba, technology which is said that now is on the other end, walked like a zombie, went to St. Francis Chapel. I was already born again at this point in my life. I'd given my life to Christ when I was 11. Wow. And I'd lived a seamlessly pure life. Yeah. And so I was there. These are times, guys, when you have to talk to your Creator. I mean, sometimes this relationship with God is too mechanical. Praise, man, what? There are some times when you need to talk to Him. I mean, it's a conversation. Because if you're in a relationship with someone, you should be able to tell them and then listen and hear them talk back.
That's
yeah?
That's how friendship can be.
It can be. So I said, God, now, is this what you do to the people you love? See, I'm trying my best. First of all, I don't know where this thing came from. It has hit me like a truck of potatoes. I'm here crashing under it. I'm trying. I've just got another. What do you want me to do with my life?
Now you have a retake.
I have another retake. Well, there are now 5.
Oh, wow.
You get 4 or 5. I have another. What do you want me to do with my life? Where are you? What testimony do you have as my God, the one I keep telling people I serve?
Yeah. So that's what you went to tell God.
We are talking now.
On your way to the church.
On the way to church, when I got there, we talked.
Yeah.
And then he's like I'd gone on vacation. You know those times where I go just quiet. I said, Kale. So I walked down from St. Francis, those stairs, St. Augustine, St. Francis Community Center, went to the room. My roommate had gone for some field work, so I locked myself in the room. I don't know, for a week or so. And by the time I ended the week, I was stinky, smelly. I actually almost committed suicide. He just saved me out of the train of thoughts was such that the more the days passed, the more useless I felt, the more hopeless I felt, and so the voices started coming. So I mean, this now is suicidal. If someone is going to commit suicide, thoughts come, they keep on like someone's drowning. It keeps coming until you thought, no, you're useless. What are you even doing here? You've just got a retake. You don't understand your life. End your life. And as I was doing that, remember, I just started taking medication and I had a pack of medicine. I got to that point, looked at the medicine, the voice told me, get the water, the series. As I was going to take the medicine like this, another voice, strong but emphatic, just talked to me throughout. Yeah? Wow. And that's how I survived a suicide attempt. And then I went, looked for my friend and told him, man, guy, I'm dying. Help me, take me to the doctor. So that is how the thing came and hit me to the lowest point of my life. Yeah. But maybe if I can try to tell how people got to know that I had the sickness and
even how you got to know
that I had
your experience. But before we go into that, I just want you to share, what did that voice say to you? You know, in that moment, you're having so many voices telling you, get the medicine and kill yourself, take the water, drink it. And then you say, just as you were about to, there is another voice. What did that voice say to you?
Now, you see, God is interesting. And it's so amazing because He will use the situations in your life to get you out of the mess that you had gone into. So backtrack a little bit. The reason why I broke down was my mom had eventually decided to leave the troublesome marriage and go back to their home. So as I was so hurt because I was so attached to my mom. And so That day I can still see myself right now on the gate of Lumumba near Gongom, that cultural symbol of the whole. I clashed upon those iron bars and wept like a baby. You know, it's now what? We're almost at the end period of the. I'm going to McKennedy. I'm here. We're getting the money soon. Where are you going? So now I slept that night and woke up a different person. That's how strange it was.
It was just so.
That's how the string broke.
Miraculous. Wow.
That's how the string broke. Now, so when I now started being timid, I would cry all the time, I would be anxious, I got panic attacks. From that night onwards, the journey down here started. So when I was going to kill myself that particular night, that voice told me, "Hey Andrew, when you're going to kill yourself, what will your mother do?"
Oh, you remember that.
You see, so I got mad, I lost my mind because of what she had done out of love for her. She was going to be crushed more if I was in a coffin 6 feet under. You see, So, I mean, God speaks. He just used that. I know it was Jesus Christ of Nazareth reincarnated or alive in me at that time.
Wow.
Yeah? So that's when I got the treatment and got out, asked for my friend to take me to the doctor, and then I started the recovery journey.
Oh, wow.
After that. Yeah.
And there's something you mentioned in your story. You said, as you were going through this, you actually cried like a baby. And I think that speaks to a lot of our emotions, right? There's so many people who feel crying is how can I say? There's so many people who feel like crying is a weakness. But I like to emphasize, just cry out your emotions. It's okay. It's okay to cry. If that's how you're feeling, it's also a way to get relief, right?
Let me talk a bit about crying also here.
Yeah.
Men, it's okay to cry. Sometimes, and this, I think I'll talk about it in a way where you keep authentic friendships. You see, the experience I'm relating now happened in 2005. It's almost 20 years. Almost 20 years, very long time. But within the different periods, 2015, even last year, I have had situations where I had to download on friends. You see, and sometimes crying gives out the toxins.
That's true.
You're a psychologist, so you know. He's a doctor. The doctors are watching this, they know. You see, So you need to be able to express your emotions in a space that is safe. Not that you're CC. We're big guys, we have companies, we have families, we run stuff.
Yes.
But sometimes stress is just too much. Life has a way of pounding a lot of things upon the different guys watching this show.
Yes.
You get it?
Yes, that's true.
If you have a space that is safe enough, where you can tell someone, by the way, you don't have to cry all the time and shed tears, but where you get intense, tell a friend, man, I don't know what to do about this.
I'm stuck.
I'm weak.
Yeah.
Don't feel like Bruce Almighty, you can handle it or no.
Yes.
Now that's where the friendships come in, where you can have a safe space to talk with someone about a particular need. And many times over, I've had friends who've cried in my face. And after that, they say, man, this was like magic, man. After that, I felt relieved to start another journey of this project or something like that. So it is safe. I think it is.
Thank you for sharing that part. It's very vulnerable and deep. I just want to take you back to how you were feeling all these kinds of things, and then you got medication and all of that, how you started this journey. But how did you know that what you were feeling was strange? And did you speak to someone? Was there anyone that was aware about your situation for you to actually get onto that whole journey of medication?
I think I must say I was a bit fortunate on several lines of movement in this journey. Is that I had a very good roommate. Peter was a very, very good guy. Now, all of a sudden, before that, I was very active. All these clubs of Christian clubs, St. Francis, Watoto, there's Prime Time.
The other club.
No. You say it, no. Yeah. So I had a good friend of mine, that Peter Gentleman, Chigaman from Western Uganda. So he noticed that I had retracted a bit. I was no longer the bubbly guy. Then we are beginning to, we used to pray together as a Christian guy. We're praying, and I'm beginning to cry. Hey, man, what's wrong? What's wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Huh?
The bubbly guy.
The bubbly guy now is fearful, he's crying. So, Peter told me, let's just pray to God and you see if things will actually improve. Now, during that time, I had my brothers visit me in the room, and I think he told them that, you know what, this guy, something is not right. Yeah, so in the midst of that, I talked to someone said, no, he needs to cheer up, it's campus time, it's no longer it's secondary. The exams are coming. Semester exams are coming. There were 5 papers. I used to be so meticulous in arranging my notes, summaries, to go and do the papers. I had none of that. I barely attended the classes. I go pass through a bit, go for the first paper. I black out like quarter way. But as I'm sitting, I will stay in this paper until it ends. I go back. Second paper, I freeze. Meanwhile, now I'm becoming agitated. It's like there's a wound in my head. Third paper. By the time I did the third paper, I couldn't contain it. I was bloodshot in the eyes. I was not eating. After that paper, I just ran and went to an auntie who was in the Kampala Secondary at that time. She was the secretary right there. When she saw me, she said, hey, what's wrong? It's exam time, what are you doing here? I just broke down. And then now that's how the family got to know that, man, I think this guy is not right. There's something wrong, eh? And that's how I was taken to the late Dr. Margaret Mungera, that very premier psychiatrist world over, who started me on the medication, and the journey began in that way. But I have to say this, is that when I went to that hospital for the first time, Midland Hospital, in Midland Clinic in Mengo, I had an uncle who also had the same condition. Okay. And in good faith, he told me, man, Andrew, please accept your condition. This is your new life, and you're going to live like this forever. For some reason, I can remember that place very, very clearly. I was walking from Midland. They had not built Mukwano Mall at that particular point. It was Sapelo Kagwasa Primary School. I was sloping down. I looked up in heaven and said, wailing with anger against God. Remember, there were stories with God. I said, God, if there's a God in heaven, you okay, for some reason, you're going to help me beat this. I cannot live a nothingness life, yet I'm a Christian. Yes. I said that, I believed that, and after that I moved and got a taxi to Bugolobi, and the journey began. What I want to say at this point in time is that you may be out there, it may not be a mental health disorder, it may be an issue with the abusive marriage, it may be, if you trust God big enough, just know that He works together. He works things together for those who love and trust Him. I didn't know 20 years ago that I'd be sitting on Sorry Deep because of the condition that almost made me commit suicide. I didn't know. You see, But God in His own wisdom was weaving together a story that is very now impacting millions upon millions of people world over, not even in Uganda alone. You see, So take comfort if you're a Christian, or if you had times when stuff is tight, or if you're a human being out there and you don't know where to turn to Jesus, but also look for help through friends, like I've said already. He's weaving together a plan that you do not have any idea about.
Wow. Thank you for that. So now that is your university life and how you went about that. So, but the part that I remember is you had about 5 retakes. Yes? And you're almost finishing university. So now, if you can just talk to us of the afterlife, after university, how did you finish finally, and then what happened after that? How did you go about it with the medication, and then life has to begin? or
Okay.
work life and all of that. Yeah.
Now, one thing I need not to forget about is that now I start taking medication. Second year, I'm getting a bit. First of all, I have to say that it's okay to take the medication, because unless you get super faith, for lack of a better word, to get off a medication completely, please take your medication. Because ideally, it's a chemical imbalance. My doctor used to tell me, Andrew, this is a chemical imbalance in the brain. And everyone out there you see in the street has a level of madness. So you take your thing, take your meds, they will balance you out, remove the imbalance, and then you live a normal life.
Yeah.
You see, I got stubborn in fourth year, and got off the medication. Because I believe I'm better than God doesn't want me to take medicine. Every one of people who have mental health disorders come to a time of such a phase where you get tired of the medication and you want to leave it. Please don't. When I did, I spiraled out of control, and instead of going to the low end, I went to the high end and ended up in Butabika Hospital. I was hospitalized for about a month, 3 weeks to a month. I got out of Butabika, I was like a cabbage. You're looking at me now. Mama.
This is not, you don't see that.
Because I was fat, my lips were always dry, saliva was drooling out, I'm absent-minded all the time. I couldn't comprehend life issues. I couldn't.
Yeah.
You see, So what you see now is a rework of what God can do in the life of a person who submitted to them, so I go. 2008, the year has ended. Campus tenure for my year in civil engineering has ended. I've not finished the course. You see, But then I have to leave. For some reason, there was a force. I don't want to call it a force, but there's an action pulling me towards a direction that I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I kept on mastering the energy to wake up. I kept on mastering the energy to ask, how do I do this retake? Please, I'll take borders to Uganda Road, and someone discusses for me. So I started picking up the courses. The other course of survey, I picked it up, passed it. Wow. You get it?
Yeah.
I kept on picking up. Then what helped me was that I was in a fellowship, and then one of the members of the fellowship gave me an opportunity to work at Watoto Church.
Connections,
I was active in sale, but ish. Appear, disappear like that.
Once in a while. Yeah.
And I started working. So that gave me a bit of meaning. Because I would earn 20K every day. They'd give it to me at the end of the month. I felt appreciative to God for an ability to earn. Because, who am I to earn? I'd lost all hope.
Yes.
You get it?
Yeah.
So then, where I was coming from, then I used that money to complete the courses. I actually graduated with the first degree.
First degree?
Not first class, number one degree, the first number one degree.
Okay, yeah.
And it was a miracle in its own right. So I started regenerating myself, and the very key factor, I think I should say it at this point, because you asked me how afterlife, so I picked up the course, I have a degree now. What next? I felt, I wanted to get married.
The relationship aspect.
That one now flips in at this particular time. Now, because as a church boy, the only ladies I knew and I wanted to date were church ladies.
Yeah.
So I approached the first lady who had seen me at my worst. She gave me excuses and ran away.
Oops.
I said, hey, man. Now this is when the tight conversations with God started again.
Because that's rejection.
It's a rejection already now. I've been through this. Okay, now, why are you rejecting?
Yeah. And
I got the second lady. Good family, what? This time I said, I will not tell her face to face. I'll call her. I can remember that night when I was on the bed as I'd got a small house in Mutungu. I called that lady and told her, hey, do you mind dating someone who takes medicine once in a while? I was trying to dress up the condition to be acceptable. So, She didn't, like, non-committal. The next day I call her.
She couldn't pick up.
No, she blocked me.
So this is the second rejection.
Second rejection. I said, but I said, God, what kind of God is this?
Yeah.
Who takes people, crashes, but he crashes, he breaks gracefully, he crashes gracefully.
Right.
You see,
Yeah.
Now you crash, but you leave a bit of it. Third one, same thing. Fourth one, same thing. Fifth one, same thing. I said, Kati, let me chill.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah. It's too much.
It's too much. What does the man do now? What do you want me to do? You, God, what would you do? Such kind of intimate conversations. And then, eventually, I met the lady who's my wife now.
Okay.
And I mean, without going into a very, very, very long story about our relationship, that the day we met, we connected. By the third date, I was feeling butterflies. For I said, I have to tell this one before she throws me out also.
Yeah.
I mean, I told her freely, and then she looked at me and said, man, I see potential in you.
Oh, wow.
I tell you, I'm willing to risk with you.
What a ton of events. That's a whole different
That
story.
is when the lights went on.
Wow.
I don't remember, Sheila, don't remember how that conversation ended. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I was in the clouds. I think I had a CV somewhere, dusted it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. It's so deep. We're talking deep stuff that,
yes, absolutely.
guys, be careful the words you talk to people. A few words can change a destiny.
That's true.
You get it?
Yeah.
So for me, I applied for a job, got the job, started consultancy, and ever since that time, I talked about a first degree, I got a second degree, I got a third master's, I have about 20 diplomas from world over. A person who had failed to finish a degree at campus.
Wow.
You see,
5 retakes.
Five or so retakes to a lost dead year. There's a dead year in the middle there.
Oh my.
To a person who's, I humbly say this, influencing the different spaces in society.
Amazing.
You see, so that's my post-bipolar, post-university journey. Yeah.
Wow. Such a story of hope. I know that someone out there is getting encouraged, getting hope, picking it up right now, because this is a very wonderful story. I mean, sharing your journey from how it went to a hopeless situation, to almost suicide, to now this point, you know? Amazing.
Amazing.
We're really honored to be hearing your story today. Yeah, so now we are into relationships. You now have the woman of your life, and eventually she is to become your wife, right? Maybe if you could just give a little bit of that, how that led you into other aspects of life. Was that the kind of support? Did you get support from this kind of relationships? You know, just share with us a bit.
I think beating bipolar or beating any mental health disorder, it's a combination of things. But for me, it's been, and I'll read about it in the book later, is that it's been a journey of relationships. First and foremost, my relationship with God. Because even though I'd be angry with Him, I'd still go back and lay myself bare to Him and tell Him, I can't do this on my own, man. You help me out, even in my anger. But then the other relationship has been with my wife. That lady, she's gold. I can say it on camera. I can say it in secret.
Talking about her.
Come on. Yeah, because she understands me in ways that no other person can understand. We've been married for now coming to 11 years.
Wow.
And when bipolar, we're living in the condition means that different life events can trigger off different spikes. You get it? You can lose a very close relative and jump into a depression. You see, you can get a very big contract at work and spike.
That's
right.
Get
very excited.
Yes.
So she's there. She will know, my mom is losing sleep. You get it? So she'll create an environment that's better for you to take sleep. She'll tell me, no, you've taken long without seeing the doctor. I think we're due for the doctor. That kind of support, which is, I don't know, are there angels in life or I don't know. You get someone like you be there and someone is just handed over to you like this. Because she would make the very best that I am. And then, of course, as well, we make sure we create very good, memorable experiences in life. We fly out every once in a while. We go for vacations, both internally or even abroad and stuff. Even we keep good friends. We keep very good friends with fellow married couples and fellow engineers and circles of networks that we live with. We try to live big. We have so many people that are placed every now and then for dancing and really enjoying life, because I almost lost it.
Yeah.
So now that I have it,
Yes.
let me enjoy it. To impact. We don't meet people just for the sake of meeting. So even in the meeting there, towards the end, we have a point of reflection. What are you going through? They fired you the other day. What did you do? How can we help? You get the maids are disturbing you. How do you think we need to do better? You get something like that to make people's lives a bit better. So that's one relationship that's very key. So see, the relationship with God, first foremost with my wife and the kids, and then now friends. Friends, because I normally tell people that friends are, you have a choice to make friends who are authentic and who will take you to higher places. You have a choice to make friends who will take you downhill. Because there's particular times in people's marriages where things are tough. And you go to a friend and the friend says, you add another wife to that one, she'll be okay.
Yes, the kind of friends.
You see, Or the footsteps of a friend take you where you have to go. Someone will say, instead of you're going through a hard time, instead of going to a disco to drown yourself in alcohol, let's go to an overnight or something. Or let's go to an activity sports activity that will take off a stress. You need good friends, especially more than actually dealing with these mental health issues, but also even other life aspects of people like you who are normal. So it's about relationships. So like you've said, she's a very key relationship to me, my wife, and even the other relationships bound it together. The other key relationship is family. Family as well. Because now those ones know that it's like a family thing. There's so many family dynamics because of where you come from. Sometimes when you get a wife, they oppose and they don't like or whatever. So for me, my family first of all accepted my wife for who she was, loved her, took her on. And then my brothers and sisters have their own way of coming in every now and then. When they see so many accolades, you're on TV or what, here we go, call and say, hey, Chiyokambachi, how's life these days? Let's go for tea. You get it? Because they know life events that are so exciting can flip you off to another particular end.
That's true.
And then same with Jackie, with Eria, with Tom, and all the other brothers that I have. And so family is very, very important as well. Aunties, uncles, and parents, most importantly. My parents got together in their own way. There's semblance of normalcy, and that really keeps us all together as a family.
Wow.
The other key relationship that I needed to talk about was the need for mentors. That's very key as well as we move. Briefly, this is now 2000, I think, and 8, 9 around there. I've lost all hope in life. I feel so useless. I'm fat. All my friends have advanced. People have gone for PhDs and masters. You're there.
The same
level, no movement. So I go for an event called Men of Valor at Watoto Church. And there, after me, rousing us up and what, they tell us, hey, young guys, if you see a guy, you can ask to be your mentor. Now that time I said to me with my rottenness, how can I, pardon the word, but I was feeling that garbage in my heart. How can I even ask anyone to listen to what I'm going through? Who will even listen to me? So I said, that session, I will dodge it or not. So as we're getting meals, there's like a buffet afterwards, I stand next to a police, an army guy. You know, he was an army guy. Later I got to know that he was. And then he asked me, hey, how are you? What are you doing? I said, I'm okay. I've just finished campus. I'm not finished. And then
You hadn't finished.
I said, I finished campus.
Because
So, how? I want to feel important. Also, now I'm also in society.
Yeah.
So we changed numbers. I must have taken like a month or so. And I said, let me call this guy. I have nothing to lose. Man, that guy turned out to be a blessing. A big blessing. He was so committed. He would come from beyond the barracks every Wednesday and come to, because I'd set another chair at Watoto, and go with me to, there's like a place at Tropical House that as you stopped opposite Equatorial Mall. A place down there we used to go. He buys tea, teaches me the word of God, tells me how I'm the righteousness of Christ. And then we would end our meeting with prayers. Then he would tip the receptionists and the people in the restaurant.
Yeah.
He did that for a whole year.
And it just happened naturally. You guys
Naturally. We just gravitated now to that lecture. I'll tell you, man, I'm not understanding. I don't understand the plasticity index. I don't understand cohesion. He'll say, I'm going to pray about it. Then I'll go and do that retake, finish it. There's this particular one, the final year report. I've written the report, but I've done the engineering material, but I didn't understand it fully. He says, you go, now pray, and God will help you. So go into this, I'll never forget this. There's a particular lecturer, very tough lady. We're like 5-6 people to present that afternoon. I was among the 6. I think I was number 5. The first 4 people, she roasted all of them and told them, go on, you repeat this section, methodology not clear, no engineering content. I was, like when we were like, no. Oh. I was for the first 4. I was now number 5. I was literally like shredded in my system before I presented. You see, so I get on, I said, okay, I got in. When I got onto the podium, she got a telephone call. I swear.
Saved by grace.
Yeah. My life is like a movie. So she got a telephone call, walked out. Hey, hello. I said, glory to God. I fumbled, the presentation came on. I went through it. The guys I was presenting to didn't understand the content because I was presenting engineering, they were surveyors.
So they couldn't.
They said, no, okay. Now change the title page, put the right university logo, and go and print for submission. When I was getting off like this, she walked in.
Wow, divine intervention.
She walked in, she read the next guy, the 6th guy. All these other people went back and had to repeat their work. And I graduated like that.
The story was, indeed, like you said, it's like a movie.
You see,
Literally comes into the picture, takes you to the next level, and then that.
And you see, the other thing that Martin, his mentor, helped me with, he said, course to Jimaze, glory to God. Then the ladies started coming, these girlfriends I was getting, ladies I wanted to date.
Yeah.
She would tell me, don't, please don't. I would say, no, now what's the use of staying pure? I'm growing old, I need to. Don't. Stay put. The right lady is coming. After like the 4th lady, she says, he told me, I said, no, you tell me, Martin, what kind of God is this? Huh? Stay. And when I met Grace like this, he disappeared.
The man
The mentor. And appeared in the 8th year of our marriage.
What should we call this?
God is good, guys. God is good. That's why when you're faithful, the little, you don't have to start a life ministry or little duties of life. Honoring parents, honoring people, being grateful for the little you have, telling no lies, being truthful, small little things of life. He honors such little things. Yeah, so those are the relations I want to talk to you about. Yeah, so in my journey with the condition. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even know what to say because I'm just learning so much from you. I feel so encouraged even just on my own journey. And I just thank you for sharing so deeply.
You're welcome.
So I think I just now want to get into the workspace. Is there any stigma you're facing? Are you taking medication or what does that journey look like now for you in your workspace? Is there any stigma?
Now, when I started, let me take you through a different work times, because I worked with Watoto Child Care Ministries. It was a cash environment, like a volunteer, no need for too much stressful impact on the mind. I did quite well, but at that time I was sleeping a lot. I had guys pick up my work every now and then. I had bosses rubbish me completely, but I would stay in, go. God is good. I would move. There's a particular time I would wake up, slide into Watoto Child Care Ministries right there at 9:30, 10. People have started working. Work has already started.
Yeah.
You slide in, you do a few of the things. I'm not understanding the software for procurement and putting materials for the engineering work supposed to take place. But somehow by the time the day goes, maybe towards the end I picked up a few things. But you see, I got at 10, 9:30, 10. By 11 I'm sleepy. Because I took a dose before coming. You see?
Yeah.
Now then, I would go inside Watoto Church, in the pews. There's a particular wooden pew that had an inclination that was not too tight on my thighs. And I would sleep. You wake up a little bit, it's midday. You run in, put in a few infeeds, go back, go for lunch. After lunch, again you sleep. You see,
Yeah.
But I pick myself again. One day, another day, another day, another day. until I finish that the work for the volunteering. Now I got into real consultancy. Now you see, guys were saying, he's going to fail flat on the face. What will he do in consulting? He's just been sleeping here. But God has a way of. I think that time I now got married, so I had extra support at home. The wife was praying for me. And I had targets. And you see, when the first baby came, there's even more reason to work harder.
Yeah.
Because there's a person who's depending entirely on your well-being. Yeah. So I went through I don't even know how I got the gas. I would wake up late in the night, do the work for the company, start now the first master's degree. I did it, finished it. Along the way, did the second one. It's just a miracle after miracle. You get it? And along the way, people now started respecting me in the workspace because I knew my things. You see,
And you were putting in the work.
The work.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
What I tell people normally is that be too skilled to be dispensable. You see,
Yeah.
because they'll look for you
Be too skilled.
to be dispensable. Because they'll look for you. Because who will do this particular work well? It's Begunisa. He will go get him whatever it is. You see, that was one of my tickets. Yeah. The other one was to be meticulous in the skill. I am too detailed. I'll take a number of days with a report, but flip it and flip it and flip it until I'm sure it's clear. It's going to make sense. You see, So that's one of the reasons. So by the time I did the consultancy, I got into UNIA. I was the head of the department in Uganda National Health Authority. That was a different workspace altogether because now I was handling the entire country.
Wow.
You see, they would call you, the road has collapsed in Bunyonyi. You now run there, they tell you, Katuna, this is finished. I was the head of quality control. So, go there, then they naka pili, we need some asphalt test results reviewed. You've just landed in Kampala. There's something in Arua that needs attended to. Then after that, there's something in Kasese.
Meanwhile, you're doing all of this, taking your meds.
Taking medication, running a family, leading in church. It's by the grace of God. I can't say it's anything about me really.
Yes.
You get it?
Yes.
But I think what happened was that I got a why that was stronger than me. You get it? Because all of a sudden I realized that it wasn't just about me. It's about the family, fine. But there's a person out there.
That's true.
Who wanted to take their pills and die. There's another one who has been chucked by 10 girls and wants to jump. So when you have a why that is stronger, it just pulls you like a magnet that pulls you. But most importantly, I was so in touch with God. There's a time I was too in touch with God that my wife says, "Hey, man, what's up? You're praying all the time." It's okay. I have to tie in so that I can get what is enough to give out. Yeah.
I like that. And I also like the fact that you were you did not leave room for complacency. You were working hard. You were putting your best foot forward. You didn't let anything stop you. Not even the fact that you're on meds or anything or any stigma attached to you.
But then I have to say this also that sometimes, okay, you see, when you're on meds, of course you see the doctor, they adjust every now and then. But the meds have a sedative effect. You get it? So even in New it would be like 10, you're supposed to bring to Kajina. You can't hold your head together. You look for an empty office. 10 minutes. You have to be deliberate, man. Life has to be lived.
Yes.
You see it? Yes. Life has to be. So you sleep a bit. When you rise out of that particular corner, you go and ace them away. Hey, good. They don't know the journey you've had. Then, of course, waking up in the morning, sometimes you'll be tired, sometimes you'll be easy. So I'd be driving, at the time I had one car, early in the marriage. I would be driving, the journey is too much, when it's too quiet, I start falling asleep. I tell my wife, no, when you park at the shell, you flip. She drives, I sleep. By the time I get to Union, I'm awake, ready to face that day.
Wow.
So it's it's I don't even know how to say it, but I think God has been with me all the way. But also, that force that pulls me, that you say the quote at the beginning, life is a question.
Yes, life is a question.
The way you live that life is the answer.
That's right.
You see it? Yeah. So I think for me, life's question is, He gave me my life with bipolar disorder. That's why I say He blessed me with bipolar disorder, because it's with that disorder that He just pulled out the juices out of me. You get it? Yeah. So as I live my life as a man, as a father, as a husband, as an influencer with bipolar disorder, I'm answering a bit of the questions. Maybe a person watching this will be gravitated enough to know that don't be defined by a condition. Never. You have a God who's bigger and greater. Yeah? Who can flip things in a way that you can never even think.
Amen to that.
You see it? Because sitting here, me, in Mutarika, sitting here. What is good?
And also the part, I think this just even reminds me of turning your lemons into lemonade. Yeah?
Perfect.
And I like that aspect of God, because in everything that you have said, God has always been center. And actually this leads me to the part of you've written a book. You've written a book about your journey. Maybe there could be something that you might want to encourage people with today. You just, share with us something from your book, or share with people what the book is about, what it's called, where they can find it, and things like that.
Okay, I think I kept a copy right here. It's called In Search of Sanity.
Yeah.
How my bipolar disorder turned into a blessing.
Right.
Now, there's just 2 lessons maybe I learned from this book.
Yeah.
The day I said yes, I said, okay, you know what, Jesus? Okay, I'm going to die. This is literally dying. I'm going to die so that you can live through me. I got a corner in my sitting room. 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. I would cry from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Because you're reliving the story. Yeah.
Reliving every single moment. So, the book is out of love. It's out of love. It's out of obedience. And the Lord has shocked me what He can do out of an obedient heart. The book in its infancy, it's just 1 year in the market. It's won awards. It's all over. It's going to be printed by big media houses abroad. I'll mention the names. I'll mention the names, but maybe it's premature now. But it's such a good book. It's got power. He has a way of turning sour stories into good stories.
That's a beautiful wrap up. And there's actually something, the day we met, the first day we met, you had this book and I got one for myself. And this is what you wrote for me. No wonder I had to get you here. You said, Sheila, you want to see what the Lord can do with crushed grapes? Read and partake of the wine He has made out of my turmoil. He is the master craftsman. Be blessed. That has blessed me, and I knew that you had to be here to bless other people as well.
I'm more than honored.
Thank you so much. We truly appreciate your time. We appreciate you sharing your story, your journey with us. So just share with people, how can they get you? Where are the books located? And do you have a contact you can share?
Okay. The books are Aristoc mainly, because I think most people do. Aristoc, Mukono Bookshop, and Uganda Bookshop. My social media handles, Facebook, Musinguzi Begumisa. Those are the names. Actually, all the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Musinguzi Begumisa.
Okay, Thank you so much. I've learned a lot. And it's just been a blessing having you here, honestly. Thank you for honoring our invite.
No, I'm more than blessed. I'm more than honored, because when I looked at the caliber of people you bring on Soul Deep, I said, man, who am I? So I'm more than honored. I'm more than honored.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
I hope you've been blessed, or at least touched by the story tonight. I know someone has been encouraged. So thank you so much for watching. It's Soul Deep with Sheila. And please do subscribe if you haven't. We would like to hear from you as well. Comment in the comment section and share with your friends as well. Till next time, see you.